Okay, so I'm working on is the wife wanted to have a can dispenser. So roll down the top, come back. So the reason why she wanted this is that we label everything from when we bought it. We like to have some back stock. And so this way she can put all the new stuff in the top, all the old stuff comes out the bottom. So we're always getting the oldest can. So I've already built 2 of these, but I'm going to build a 4th one with a 4-inch can. The other ones are 4 3/4. So this is a little bit of a smaller can. Normal size is about 3 inches wide and just a little bit longer. But all I've got here is just some scrap wood. This is actually from a pallet. As you can see, it is not even a solid piece of wood. It's just a scrap that came off of something we had ordered. Still has holes and things in it. I picked the good side, but it doesn't really matter because it'll still roll across it just fine. Cut myself some pieces to act as guides. These will go on the level that goes above it. So I took the planer, and this is from some trim we were using on the house, and I planed it down to basically a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square. So these will be laid out to have that roll through it so it doesn't hit anything. Keeps it in line. I've built some, what I don't know what you call these, bracket, I guess. But the way I did it is it's 6 inches on this side, 4 inches on this side. So it rises an inch in both directions to give me the slope. So it'll roll this way, drop down, and it'll roll back towards the front there. I took all these and laid them on top of each other and then ran through a table saw again after I cut them to make sure that they're about as close as I can possibly get them so there's no extra, it doesn't wave around and have a bunch of gaps and things. And this is all just done from scraps. So we had done a lot of staining and practice staining and things in our house to get the kind of wood look we desired. So this is just scraps from that. You can see there's drips of who knows what on these boards. But that didn't really matter for what I'm using it for. On my sides, this is 16 inches deep. It's about 11 3/4 tall, 16 inches deep. And this is just based off the measurement from the shelf that's going on in our pantry. So again, there you can see how messed up that side of the board is. It was probably used for staining and polyurethane, some doors, things like that. The other side is not too bad. So I'll take the sides that are really messed up and have them face in, because you're never going to see them. At least have decent sides facing out. And I got some trim pieces and stuff I'll go over here in a little bit. I'm just using 1 inch 18 gauge nails, and I have some 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch is a little bit too long. I probably should have got 1.25 inches just because I'm shooting through some pretty thin wood here, and sometimes it'll blow out the side. Something a little bit shorter would be a lot better. I use 1 inch on almost everything except for when I get to some 3/4 inch trim pieces that I put in later on. I wouldn't have enough bite all the way through, so I use a couple of these. But we'll get started. This panel, like I said, had a 1 inch slope on it. Most of your levels, this is going to be 1 inch here. So I'm just using this as a guide to get the back of it up close to that inch. I'm not really too concerned. When I cut everything, I didn't even worry about the slope and the dimensions being different. Everything is cut to 16 inches. It's really not going to matter for something this small. So this will get tacked in here on this side. That will get tacked in on the other side. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now that I got those tacked in place, I'm just going to take my wedges here, put one in there on each side. Lay my shelf in. I got to pick the correct, put the bad side down. Those lined up and tacked in. Alright, so got those tacked in Now I'm going to take this and set it on its side so I can get some more nails down in through there. Stiffen it up a little bit. And all I need to do here is I'm going to take a straight edge, go from nail to nail, and that lets me know where the board is behind it. Just feel along there and nothing shot through, which is good. Same thing on this side. Okay, those through went okay. Okay, so this piece I was using as a straight edge also just happens to be the width of the can that's going to roll down this. So it'll fit right on top there. I use that as a spacer. Lay that right in there. Now all I gotta do is tack this one, move on down. So the next one's pretty easy. Well, I must have measured wrong because this last piece is not going to fit that. I don't want to take up any more room there, so this will just be for a smaller can. She's got a couple little soup cans that will fit in there. My measurement, we're 33 inches from outside to outside. So I did 33 inches, took off my 3 inches for my pieces through here, divided by 7, and got my distance for that, which is 4 and 5/16, or 4 and 5/32, sorry. But these are on the inside of that 33 inches, so I didn't account for that extra inch I lost. That's where my mistake came from. But it's all right. It's not a big deal. All right, so the main design is there. I'll put a couple trim pieces on real quick, and we'll move on to one of the more technical parts of this, which is getting the can to actually drop and not get stuck. This is where I'm going to switch to a little bit of a bigger nail on the ends to make sure that it gets enough bite and hopefully won't blow out the side on me. So far, so good. Ooh. Well, that wasn't a nail, but there's a knot there, and it shot a piece of wood right out of my finger. I risk getting one in the middle or not as well. Oh, that's really awkward job. Oh, it's sitting on my. Okay. I was like, man, it really messed something up, but it was sitting on my pliers. Okay, so now you can see how these are going to roll down. The guides on there wouldn't do that. And on out the front. Actually, let me get the front piece on here. Okay, so I'll show you when these get in here now. The problem you run into if you don't cut this right. Maybe it'll be perfect, probably not. So that rolls back like that. Pull this one out. You saw that one stay in place. So watch this one back here. Didn't move. Still didn't move. So you're gonna get a can stuck back there the whole time. So the reason why I cut this the way it was is now I can fit in a piece that's going to push it out the width of my can. And what's going to happen, it's going to push this can back farther. It'll be sitting there. So when I pull this off, it rolls back. So what I've got to do now is basically measure this distance and be just a little bit wider than that, probably a 1/4 inch wider, so it lands at the back side and it rolls forward like it's supposed to. Otherwise, you're going to end up again with that can. It's never going to move on you. It's just going to get stuck there. So these cans, I believe, are about 2 inches. Nope, it's 2 5/8. So we need about 2 3/4 inch space. And that's 4, so I need about 1.25 inch piece. So I'll go cut that real quick, and then we'll test it, make sure it works before we tack everything in place. Okay, I just finished cutting my scrap piece down here to 1.25 inches. So one thing you need to make sure too is that before you tack it down, because I messed this up on the first one I did, is you got to make sure that this actually fits and falls through. Otherwise, what's going to happen is it'll get stuck. It'll get stuck that way, or it just won't go through at all. So this clearly has got enough oomph to make that happen. So I'll go ahead and test it. Falls in, it's back. Again, I won't do that once I get the guides on. There we go. Working just the way we want it to. So now I can go ahead and get this part tacked down. Again, these are just some scrap pieces that I ripped down. I don't got to be too accurate with them. Set them up like so. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and get a nail through there into that one first. Making sure to pull this back so it hangs out of the nail. That measurement is so tight, they end up with it not working. Should probably go ahead and check and make sure that'll work. Alright, now I can really test it out. So the next piece, well, I can do a trim along the front. And this is going to be raised up to the level of my guides. Get that tacked in place, then I have a lid to put on it. And that is it. Done. Not planning on really doing a lot of painting or anything on this. Which is my good side? Here's my good side.
Hi, Dad.
Hello. Done. Now I just gotta go install it. That size worked out perfectly. I didn't screw up that bad. But there we go. So now when she gets cans from the store, she can load them here in the top. The oldest ones come out the bottom, the newest ones go in the top, so you're always cycling through your oldest cans first. And she's got quite a bit here. So there you go. Hope that helps everyone. If you're looking to build one of these, it wasn't very hard. Again, this was all just scraps out of the garage. Nothing special at all. And like I said, once you get it installed, you really can't see the sides or any of that stuff. So if you got little mistakes, it's really not going to matter. It's functional and it works. And there you go.